Good morning, folks, and this is Rob. And just a quick uh, NASCAR. I don't know whether you want to call it summary or whatever, but the reason I feel like the dwindling ratings are happening in NASCAR. Number one, let me give you a list of drivers that have competed this season. Okay, and I'm not a NASCAR viewer anymore. I'll have to admit that, and I'll tell you why in a few minutes. But back in the day, you used to have to be a proven driver in order to get into racing in the Cup Series. Now, not so much. Truck Series, not all of them. Xfinity, if you haven't won. What'd you do? I don't know what you got in there. Maybe mom and dad helped you, but this is a list of some drivers that have competed this season in the Monster Cup Energy Series. No offense to them, because if I had the chance, I'd do it too. Bailey Curry, uh, Ray Black, Mark Thompson. He's from Arca, so I've heard of him. Jeb Burton hasn't won a lot, but he's out there. Garrett Smithley, Josh Balicki, Kyle Weatherman, Cody Ware, Quinn Hoff, Tanner Berryhill, Gray Galding, which I've heard of him in Xfinity, but still not a lot. Daniel Kennington. Now I wonder if that's DJ Kennington or if that's his son. DJ Kennington used to race in the Cup Series, but it's been a few years ago. Stanton Barrett. Now, is that Stanton Barrett that is the stunt man that does stunts and all, or is that his son or his nephew? I don't know. But Stanton Barrett has been around, but hadn't won a lot. Matt Tift won some Xfinity and Truck Series races. Ross Chastain has proven himself big time here lately in the Xfinity Series uh, and the Truck Series. So, I mean, that's about 15 drivers right there, 14 drivers. Well, 38 drivers is all that started yesterday's race. That leaves 5 open spots that if you yourself wanted to open a shop, build a car, and hire somebody that could pass the quote unquote NASCAR driver test. Okay. And let me make this all perfectly clear. The NASCAR rule book has never been made public ever. It's never been an open book made to the public where everybody knows what's going on. So you figure from that what you want to figure from it. But only 38 cars out of 43. So that leaves 5 open spots. So Johnny come lately that builds a car is not even taking his car to the track to try to find somebody who can drive it. Why? Well, number one, another reason is money now. And people are like, money? Well, they've got great TV contracts with Fox and they have great TV contracts with NBC. Yeah, they do. But it used to be where they published how much money was made by the winner, second place, third place, fourth place, fifth place. No longer is that way. So we don't know what this 30th and 31st and 32nd, 33rd drivers are making. We don't know the amount of money that these lower tiered teams are making anymore. And obviously, I think it's less. And what do I think is happening? Simple. Teams like Hendrick, teams like Gibbs, teams like Penske, teams like Stewart Haas, they are in a co-op with NASCAR. My opinion. Now, this is totally my opinion. They're in a co-op with NASCAR, and NASCAR has agreed. Okay, you're one of the top 14, 5 teams or whatever. Out of the pay for the day, we're going to give you this much, flat. Doesn't matter how you run, you bring that many cars to the track. Plus, let's also state this: They're limited to 4 cars each. Yeah. Okay, you can be limited all you want to. How many Hendrick motors were ran in that race yesterday? I was told 11. 11 Hendrick engines in that race yesterday. Gibbs, every Toyota car out there, every Toyota on the track is coming from 2 places, either from Joe Gibbs Racing or Toyota Racing Development. That's the only 2 places you can get them. There's no other team out there no other Toyota team even building motors. Chevrolet, the Fords now is it's a little more intense because Roush Yates, yeah, the same Roush that they named the Mustang after years ago, Jack Roush, along with Doug Yates, they went in cahoots together and they started building Roush Yates motors. All right. The guy that owns the Red Sox, I think he is deserted and is out of it now. Fenway, Roush Fenway I don't think it's no longer Fenway. I think it's just Roush Racing now. John Henry, the billionaire, I think he's out of it. And as soon as he gets out of it, what happens? Straight down the tubes. Straight down the tubes, guys. So now you've got a specialized Ford maker, you got a specialized Chevy maker, and you got a specialized Toyota maker. Okay. Now I'm hearing Dodge wants back into the sport. Probably is not going to help it a lot. All right. Now let me give you the reasons why I don't watch the races anymore. I used to watch the races when people used to go to the races. People used to want to go watch them. Driver recognition is one thing. Nobody wants to sit and watch a 3-hour pre-race show with Michael Waltrip, Darrell Waltrip, and all these other clowns. Nobody wants to watch that. You would much rather be on the grid, talking to a driver, sitting on a tire, and sitting there drinking a Pepsi, sitting there drinking water or whatever, and just find out what's in their head. Okay? They don't do that. They do not. All they have to do is go in the infield and talk to these guys that we've never seen before. Josh Bilicki. Who in the hell is Josh Bilicki? Really? I couldn't tell you Josh Bilicki from a man another man at Walmart. Okay? Name and driver recognition is number 1. Number 2, who came up with those damn segments? Segment 1, segment 2, and segment 3. Really? Now, if you're going to do it, okay, NASCAR, if you're going to do it, leave the green flag out. Award points. You've been able to score them lap by lap anyway. At a certain lap, award 5 points, 4 points, 3 points. I don't have a problem with that. Don't throw a caution flag out. Throw a caution flag out and gather all the cars back up, and nothing like watching a few good caution laps, especially in 100-degree heat. Who wants to see that? We want to see green flag racing. If you're going to have 600 laps of racing at the Coke 600 in May, nobody wants to see 40 laps where you created it. It's not a wreck. It's not a wreck. It's only a train wreck of NASCAR because you decided to throw a caution flag out. Really? Segments. Guess what, kids? Any kid that's under 10 years old now, there used to be things called green flag pit stops. They really existed at one time or another. They actually went down pit road. And I don't have a problem with pit road speed limits, guys. I don't have if you ever watched the deal with Bill Elliott's crew member, was it Ricky Rudd? Ricky Rudd's crew member and Bill Elliott. I don't forget who it was, but anyway, somebody got hit and got killed because they didn't have a pit road speed limit. They were going 100 miles an hour down pit road. I don't have a problem with pit road speed limits. Okay, I'll be the first to say that. But everybody does not have to finish on the lead lap. We do not have to award a good participation trophy to everybody that comes into the race. There's losers, guys. If they lose a lap, tough breaks. We do not have to have 28 cars on the lead lap to make a good race. It used to be if a car could run further, it was called gas mileage. He may not be as fast, but he could out. It's called maneuvering. He'd run ninth all race. His name was Darrell Waltrip. I hated him. I didn't like him. I never have liked him. But my God, if you ever watched some of his races, he'd race ninth all race long. Matt Kenseth. I liked Matt Kenseth. He'd run 10th all race long. You never hear from him. And then all of a sudden at the end, where did he come from? And the reason he did was, number one, he didn't run his car so hard at the beginning. And number two, he saved gas. Well, that's all thrown out the window now by NASCAR. Thanks, NASCAR. And you wonder where your purists are. The people that used to watch in the 70s and the 80s and the 90s. Where are those fans at now, right? Well, I'm 52 years old. You go figure. Go rewind the clock a little bit. I probably went to as many as 40 races in the 80s, and I probably went to as many as 60 in the 90s. That's 100 races in 20 years' time. Doesn't sound like a lot, but if you average that out, that's 5 races a year I used to go to. Okay? I don't go to any of them. I haven't been to one in 20 almost. It's been 20 years since I've been to a race. I've still got races on tapes from the 80s and 80s and 90s, and I'd still rather watch them even knowing who won than some of this garbage they put on the TV now. The best racing right now, if you want to go watch a race, is go watch ARCA. Go watch an ARCA race somewhere. Go watch an ARCA race, okay? What it is, there are a limited amount of money thrown into it. They don't have a lot of commercialism because a lot of people don't know them. They'll pop them on TV once in a while, and they'll let us see an hour and a half of it, 2 hours, whatever. Nothing wrong with the racing. If they're racing bumper to bumper, what's wrong with it? See, NASCAR, you have touch with reality. Look, these drivers out here now could care less about a championship. It's all money driven. You want to make a good race? You want to make a good race? 30% of the purse of 30% of the driver's purse goes to the winner. Goes to the winner of the race. 30%. And then it trickles. No more than 10% goes to second place. See what happens then. See what happens then. You give 1/3 of the purse to the winner. Yep. Now, number one, you got to have some people in place that are ready to lay the law down if some people are going to be buttholes, because you can better believe, out of all these drivers we got now with all these attitudes, that they'll wreck their mama to win if it takes that to win 33% of the purse. Oh yeah, because number one, they have guaranteed guaranteed contracts. These drivers have guaranteed contracts, but you can better believe if the owners step in and say, guess what? We're going to put a clause in your contracts, and we're going to make it just like a basketball or baseball deal. After 1 year, if we don't want you back, hit the bricks, hit the road. Guess what that driver's going to do? That driver will wreck his daddy to win then. That driver will win, or you'll be, you're going to be peeling his car off the wall. Is that what you want? I think most people do. Most people want to see some racing. Right now, they could care less if they finish second or fifth. They don't care. And then with this NASCAR playoff garbage, okay? All right, I'm a Kyle Busch fan. I'm a Kyle Busch fan because I like to see the way he races. He's had 4 or 5 wins already. He could take the rest of the season off. He could go right now and go to Bahamas for a month. 4 weeks. Come back. He's fine. He'll still be in the top 20 in points. A top 25, a top 30, however way you play it. Is that what you want? That's what you're going to come down to. You're going to start losing drivers due to the fact, and they're starting to retire now anyway. You're starting to get the new breed in. You need to teach them right now. Guess what? Here's law right here. We're laying the law down. It was a great thing you did by Johnny Sauter by making him sit a race. I don't have a problem with that. He went out here and wrecked this guy in the truck series during caution. You can't put up with that. Make him sit. The second time it happens, you can't win a championship. Make it clear. Make it clear. But the problem with NASCAR is this. They've always liked the money so much that they'll close their eyes to a lot of things that go on. And you can't do that. You cannot do that. Because once you close your eyes to things and let it just go, you're the only one closing your eyes. What was my coffee. Once you close your eyes to things, does not mean the fans close their eyes. That's the problem right there. We've got our eyes wide open. We see what happens. We're seeing what's happening. And all you got to do, if you're a NASCAR fan or if you're not a NASCAR fan, go back and turn the TV on and watch some replays of some of these races and look at the stands. There's no excuse for any of those seats being empty. Not a chance. The marketing people at every one of those tracks should be fired. I don't care if ratings are. The marketing person there should be fired. Okay? I don't care if you have to sell those tickets for $10 each. You gotta fill the seats up. You gotta have the vendors making all their money, getting their money in. Let's just say for instance, Daytona, we're told, holds 325,000 people. Okay? I was told that in February's race, they had roughly 280,000 people there. 280,000. That's 65,000 under what it holds. Okay. This is the way I say you should do it. The morning of the race, anybody that wants a ticket comes right to the ticket counter and says, I want a general admission ticket. You make it clear to them, okay, you cannot go into the stands until noon or 2 hours before or an hour before race time, okay? You find the best seat you want. Best seat in the house left over. Now, if somebody shows you a seat that's guaranteed, you got to move. But other than that, it's a general admission seat. You can sit anywhere on the premises. $15, $20, whatever. That's more money than you're making with an empty seat. Okay? Martinsville, for the longest time, used to open their backstretch all the way across the back. The morning of the race, you could go down there and buy a ticket. You'd have the backstretch seats. Well, now they don't even open the backstretch because they can't even sell the front stretch. The marketing people in NASCAR, every one of them that has one thing to do with selling a seat or filling a seat up in a stand should be fired. If you can't fill your own place up, you've got all year. You've got all year to do it. Some of these places only have one race. You're telling me you can't sell out? You got to find ways to do that, folks. Come on. Give me a break. Most places have less than maybe 100,000 seats. You're telling me you can't find 100,000 people, 100,000 asses to put in these seats? Like I say, even if you have to reduce the prices of the ticket weekend on the weekend, well, other people already have their seats because they are primo seats. They deserve it. Sell them at a reduced price, fill them up. But I mean, I gave you this list of drivers, and I'm telling you, I never heard of most of these drivers. And then they only have 38 drivers in yesterday's race. That's 5 open slots: 39th, 40th, 41st, 42nd, 43rd. People do not people do not want to even enter a car into the race anymore because they know who's getting the money. Hendrick, Gibbs, Penske, Stewart Haas. I don't even know Childress is getting anymore. I don't even know if Roush Yates is getting it anymore. I don't even know if Ganassi's using Hendrick motors. Do you remember what it used to be called Earnhardt Ganassi Racing, EGR? When Dale Earnhardt passed away, the first thing they did was, we're going to Earnhardt Ganassi Motors. And once DEI, once it went down, pretty much when Dale Jr. left, Ganassi jumped ship and went straight to Hendrick. He's building every one of their motors now. Hendrick's building all of the motors for a couple of the other teams too. A way I understand it was 11 or 12 Hendrick motors in yesterday's race. So do you think Hendrick cares as long as the Chevrolet wins? Who wins? Probably not. Probably not. Because I think they're getting a flat rate anyway from NASCAR. That's my opinion on it, guys. Look back in the records. Look back 30 years. Look back and see how much Dale Earnhardt made in 1995. It was public knowledge. It's public knowledge. How much he made for a race. Now, that wasn't money for him, but it was money for his car owner. Well, you don't see that anymore. You see driver's name, make and model of the car, and points. And that is it. They don't release the money anymore. And there's a reason for it. There's a reason for it because it used to be evenly distributed all the way down. The marketing is terrible. The marketing is terrible. They realize that they can come on TV with a 30 or 60-second clip and it's not going to help ticket sales. Until NASCAR changes their rules and makes it where it's more quote unquote fan friendly. And guess what, folks? Fan friendly is not making a race shorter. It's not making a race shorter. Guess what? Every time, if I'm driving from here to Florida, right, and you slow me down to 45 miles an hour, am I getting there quicker, or if you just let me go? If you let the drivers race, right? You just let them race. Don't ask anything of them. Just let them race. They're running 100 and some miles an hour. They're not looking. I mean, some of them are looking to wreck. Yeah, I'm sure they are. But a lot of them, all they're looking to do is start a race and park. Some of them are going out here racing. Let them go from start to finish and let them race. That's all we're asking, folks. That's all we want, NASCAR. Throw a green flag, throw a caution when you need to, and then throw a white flag, and then throw a checkered flag. And that's all we want to see. We do not want to see a caution flag fly out because, well, we're at the end of segment 1. All right, where's the wreck? There's no wreck. Okay, we're letting you have a free pit stop. Really? Really? Now, does that not make for more wrecks? Okay, we're gonna have a restart. All right, every restart, what happens? Bumping and banging, bumping and banging. Then you're going to have more cars out of the race. You only have 38 starting. Are you not chopping off your head to spite your face? What? I don't understand you, folks. How can you double talk yourself, NASCAR? You can't do it. You want to see good racing, but then the first thing you say is, I want to keep throwing cautions. I just put my hands up in the air on that one. We want good racing. We want more fans. So we want more cautions. All right. Do you realize since you've went to that, right? Look back at the two Martinsville races last year. Okay? Martinsville races 500 laps around that little paperclip. 1,000 laps got raced there last year. Actually, a few more than 1,000 because they went to an extra time on one of them. Can you imagine how many yellow flag laps there were? What if I told you over 300? Over 300 caution flag laps out of 1,000. 30% of what you watched was caution. Can you imagine that? Over 300. Can you imagine that? It's nuts. And they don't like to count. They don't like to count those segment ends. Okay? They don't want to count those segment endings as caution flag laps. They don't like to count that because that wasn't actually a wreck that happened. But the last time I heard, okay, if you didn't throw those, do you realize the race probably finishes 15 minutes faster? And your whole argument the whole time has been, we need to cut races shorter. Okay, does that not help cut the races shorter? Let them go, right? Okay, if I go out here and hit the brakes on my car, I'm not going anywhere. But if I let off the brakes and hit the gas, I'm going somewhere. It's the same way with racing. We're not asking we're not asking for a whole new rules package. We're not asking for all that. You take care of the rules package. We don't have a problem with that. And if you want to put Dodge back into racing, that's fine. I don't even care if you don't limit how many teams each team. I don't care if you make it where Gibbs has 6 cars and Hendrick has 6 cars and Penske has 6 and Stuart Haas has 6. I don't have a problem with that. Let them race. Let them race. We want caution-free races. Look, I've seen races where there were 15 cars on the lead lap at the end. But I've also seen races where a guy was a lap or two down. They didn't have to have this damn lucky dog or whatever. They came back and won. You want to, if you want, right here, without the lucky dog, the inside cars will lap down, the outside cars will lead lap cars. You want to see one race, go back and watch Harry Gant, 1990s Martinsville. 1990 Martinsville, in the 1990s, Harry Gant. He was 5 laps down. 5 laps down. And guess what? He won the damn race. They didn't give him a lucky dog. They didn't give him a lucky dog. His car was tore to hell. And he won the race. And to this day, people still talk about that race. You know why they talk about it? Because he had a dominant car. He was out ready to race. And guess what? He raced his ass back around there. He passed the leader twice when he was laps down. He passed the leader twice. Why do we have to be so nice and giving to all these race car drivers and say, well, if you're the first car a lap down, we'll let you have your lap back? Why? Why? Is that racing? We'll lucky dog you. What did they do to deserve it? Let them race. If you leave it green flag, They may get their lap back. If you're a good enough car, you may make your lap back. Since when are we supposed to hand? Well, you know what? You put a car in our race, but so trust me, if you go a lap down early in the race, you'll get it back. The lucky dog. Stupidest thing I ever heard in my life. Stupid. Pure stupidity. It used to be when I used to go to the races, the best car and the best driver won. And if he didn't, guess what? Somebody bumped his ass out the way and beat him. Make it where the lead or the winner of the race gets 30% of the purse. No more segments. Get rid of them. Get rid of them. If you want to keep them, keep it green flag and score the points. Don't throw a caution. The hell with a caution. Let them race. Number 3, if you really want to make better racing, no more fuel under the caution flag. Tires is fine. Tires is fine. No more fuel under the caution flag. The only time you can get fuel is when you're green flag racing. If you want to do it that way, why not? The only time you get fuel is during green flag. That way, if they ever do, whine, I had a tire going in. That's fine. Change your tires. Guess what? If you run out of fuel, you ain't gonna make it nowhere anyway. A couple of changes, NASCAR, and you can have your stands full again. Right now, you're getting dog crap full. The dogs are coming up there and crapping in your stands, and that's all you're getting. And you know, I've been to over 50 races in my life. I've been to a lot of tracks. I've been to some truck races. I've been to some Xfinity nationwide when they called it Bush. And I haven't been to Monster Cup. I haven't been to Next Tail Cup. I haven't been to All Tail Cup, whatever the hell they call it. I went to Winston Cup races. And when I went to Winston Cup races, you could actually go down there and meet the driver. They give you an autograph. If they were in a bad mood, they'd tell you they was in a bad mood. That's just the way it was. It won't. They were real life people, guys. Some of them were asses. Some of them were pains in the butt. Dale Earnhardt, rest his soul. And I'm the biggest Dale Earnhardt fan ever. Sometimes he'd come by you, man, and he'd be like, I just ain't got time for you. Hey, but my man's heading to the racetrack. He's ready to race, and I just ain't got time for you. Hey, more power to you, Hoss. More power to you. At least he had the guts enough to tell me that and didn't. Come on, who wants to see that? Because if they get out of line now, if a driver gets out of line now, you've got to be in a certain place signing autographs in a tent for an hour before the race. Let him sit on his cooler. Let somebody come walk up to him and say, Johnny, do you mind signing this for me? All right. If he feels like it. Have a bottle of water in your hand, hand it to him. Would you like one? All right. My mom used to make sausage biscuits, and if I'm lying, I'm dying, folks. She used to make sausage biscuits. We used to take a cooler down to Martinsville Speedway before they had the tunnel. Okay, they'd have to open the gate in the morning time. I don't know, 7 o'clock, whatever. We would be standing outside that gate, and a lot of the drivers wouldn't get there at 7:30, 8 o'clock, and it would just be getting. I mean, it'd be dark when we first get there. And we'd see some of those drivers, they'd walk up to us, hey, how you doing? And they would recognize my mom because they'd been there other times. And I've got photos to prove it. Okay. And she'd be like, yeah, would you like something to eat? And a couple of them even said, yeah, you don't know how much that means to me. Give her a big hug. Yep, can I take a picture? Yep, clip, click. Serious. They were just And I'm not trying to make it a Southern thing out of this thing, but a lot of them are from the South, you know. And I'm not trying to make it a Southern hospitality thing and nothing like that at all. Because some of the best drivers out there, I like Steve Park, I like Jerry Nadeau, I like Dave Marcus, Mark Martin, Midwest, Northeast people. Um, oh God, it was a bunch of guys came from up there. Look, you don't. It's not rocket science, NASCAR. Fix it or lose it. Your ratings are they're tanking. They're tanking. NBCSN. Guess what? Anybody that doesn't even have a lot of people getting away from um, cable. A lot of people's getting away from it. NBCSN is cable. People are going on vacation now. I can remember when I used to go on vacation, take off and go to Florida, take off and go to Texas, take off and go wherever, to the beach even. Guess what? Do you remember the Firecracker 400? Do you remember, folks? Do you remember back in the day? They used to race it on Saturday. On Saturday. And do you know what time they used to race it? Wasn't 4 in the evening, 11 in the morning. 11 o'clock on Saturday morning. You'd find a place to that TV, and you knew by 2 o'clock they're done. 2:30, they're done. Time to go out and cook you a burger or whatever. Now it's 6 o'clock on whatever. Give me a break. People used to glue themselves to the set at 11 o'clock on a Saturday morning. I'm sure a lot of kids cried because they couldn't watch their cartoons because mom and dad wanted to watch a damn race. That's just the way it was. Does anybody remember that time? I know we're going into a new age, and I know a lot of people saying, "Well, Rob, you're old school." Yeah, I'm old school. Guess what? Old school used to go to the race. Is new school going? New school has got other stuff going on. New school has got these damn phones. They can find out who won the race later. We can find out who won. We can find out who won the race. Let's go to the beach. Let's go to the lake. Let's go on vacation. But the race is coming on. I don't even know what channel it's coming on. That's the truth, folks. That's the truth. You can ask a lot of NASCAR fans right now, quote unquote NASCAR fans, okay? What channel's the race coming on next week? They cannot tell you whether it's NBC, NBCSN, or CNBC, whatever. They can't tell you. Guess why? Because number one, they don't advertise it. Number two, people don't care. People do not care. Without the interest, NASCAR, you're going down. And I look, I'm your biggest supporter when you try to do right. Okay? I'm like your brother, NASCAR. I'm trying to line you up the right way. Okay? Trying to smack your face and say, look, go that way, don't turn that way. I would love nothing more than to have NASCAR guide its lanes back up and fix itself. I would love it. And I'm not the only one. There are thousands of people out there that want to see NASCAR racing the way it used to be. And well, you can't have it the same way it used to be because you got all this technology. BS. Number one, don't be so nice to them. You break the rules, guess what? There you go. Sideline next week. Clear and simple. You break the rules in school, you're going home for a day, you're going home for 3 days, or going home for a week. If you break your rules in NASCAR, you're going home for a week. You can sit at home and watch a race. Get rid of the playoffs. Get rid of the playoffs. You do that, how many people you think is going to cheat then? All right? Every race means something. Every point means something. How many of them is going to cheat? Look, Sometimes you got to go to the bad guy. I used to be the one to get in trouble in school. Okay, I used to be the one that skipped school. That's like if you're gonna start a wrestling organization, who are you gonna let make your rules? Let the dirty guy make your rules. He knows how to break them. You let the bad guy make your rules. He's the one that knows how to break them. He can put people in line. That's the way you do it, NASCAR. It's not rocket science. You make people ride the straight and narrow. You pay them according to the way they win. No more, no more segments. You get rid of those damn segments. If you're going to keep them, you keep a green flag flying. Okay. No more car limits. If you want to have 7 cars out there, you can have them. Okay. 43 car fields. All right. If How about this? How about this? After you administer all these rules, you give it 2 years. Guess what, race venues? If we see one empty seat in your place, you lose your race next year. We're going somewhere else. How about that? Martinsville, you know that backstretch? Open it up. We want every seat filled. We're going to be down there the race day, and we don't see every race. I don't care. I don't care if you're going to and you. I don't care if you're going to give free tickets away. We want the seats full all the way around the track. Make nobody exempt. Daytona, guess what? We got 50 tracks that want your race. If you can't fill your track, if you can't fill your seats up, we'll find somebody that will. You got track owners right now that are just dying to have races. They don't know what they're getting into, but they want races. It's that simple, guys. Now I know a lot of racing purists may agree with me, but a lot of current NASCAR fans, you're not going to agree with me. And I understand that. And I wasn't looking for an argument, okay? I just want NASCAR to fix its problems, okay? It's not a hard thing for them to do. Do it, NASCAR. Do the right thing and fix what you've got going on. It's not too late yet. Yeah, there's still some fans out. There's still some of us out there that want to go to a race, not just watch it on TV. We want to go to it, but I wouldn't. I wouldn't touch foot in none of these places right now. The way you got your organization going on, it's up to you. Subscribe to my channel, folks. I appreciate you being here. Give me a thumbs up, or give me a thumbs down if you didn't like what I said. Hey, all I'm trying to do is tell NASCAR what a lot of us NASCAR purists, 80s and 90s NASCAR people want to see. And it's not what they're putting out on the TV now for us. All right. Thanks, guys. God bless. Have a great, great day. I appreciate you watching my video. Thanks a lot, guys.